Wow, this is so good. Whoa, if you're a rib lover, you definitely want to try this dish. Welcome to Cuenca Ecuador. In my previous videos, I have shared traditional huecas, economical spots for amazing traditional food. But that's not all there is in Cuenca. There is also a level of fine dining. But just like in Europe, it's all about the food. The atmosphere is casual. You don't need to put on a suit or wear heels because it's all about the traditional Ecuadorian flavor. Here are 3 amazing restaurants in Cuenca, which I think you'll love. So we're kicking off this Cuenca restaurants video with a spot that I've been to before but I've never eaten. It's called La Maria. Now I featured La Maria in my Cuenca cocktails video because it has a lot of traditional cocktails used in a modern way using local ingredients. I love it here. And what I like about this place is that down below you've got this like artisanal market, you've got this great coffee shop. So La Maria is an homage to all of the women who continue to preserve this tradition today. And so you can have a very upscale experience here, trying traditional food from all over Ecuador. So I'm so excited to start with this first dish called locrito de pulpo. Now locro is a very traditional dish in the Andes. It uses Indian potatoes and it starts a lot of meals. Very traditional to start a meal with locro. And it's called locrito because this is a smaller version of that. So locro can be on its own. It's usually topped with cheese, but if you're vegan, just ask them to remove the cheese cubes on top. But also a lot of people add things to it. So for example, in Cayambe, I actually had it with pork tripe, which was fantastic. And here they've taken this Indian dish and they've made it really Ecuadorian because they've actually added a little bit of the coast to it. We've got some pulpo or some octopus in it. I can see those Indian potatoes. We've got some avocado. And then also we have this herb called chilchil. Chilchil comes from the moorlands or the paramo of the Andes. So what you would see if you went on a hike to Cajas. And so it in Peru is called huacatay, and it's also used in other parts of the Andes, like in Bolivia. It's very common, but only found there. Wow. That chilchil, it's with some other fresh herbs, and so this soup just kind of keeps giving you flavor. So it's got like that rich locro potato flavor, and then it's got the smokiness of the pulpo, that just a little hint of seafood. You get the creaminess of the avocado, and then just the sharp brightness of all the herbs. Now, because we are in Cuenca, of course, we have a little bit of tostado or toasted corn to eat with it. Let me tell you, this is $6.50 and it's so good. So we're almost done the soup when Andreas was like, wait, we have to stop because we didn't ask for ají. I don't know how we forgot ají, but also ají for locro is crucial. You cannot have locro without ají, and that's because, yes, it'll be a very rich potatoy soup. However, ají makes everything better, and so almost always, as soon as you're served locro, you will have ají beside it. And so we've got these 3 different kinds. So this is tatemado. So it's broiled vegetables, more commonly found in Mexico, but also found here. But I've never seen it. This is the first time I've seen it, so. Oh, it's got like a burnt charcoal flavor. Just like a tiny hit of heat, but not too much. That is amazing. All right, so because I haven't had tatemado a lot, I decided to try it. The other 2 are great, but they're known. This is the unknown. Well, I'm gonna put more on this. I'm telling you, you could just, like, I wish they just sold this in bottles so I could just eat it on bread. Oh yeah. It's just got like this toasty charcoal, like burnt, but in a good way, like marshmallow burnt kind of way on a soup. All right, second course, we're having vegetarian because I want to show that it's actually really easy to have really great vegetarian meals in Ecuador. So this is hongo de pino y choclo. So hongo de pino is a pine mushroom. There are also some oyster mushrooms in here. And the hongo de pino, or the pine mushroom, is somewhat similar to a porcini mushroom. It grows at the base of pine trees. It is with a choclo puree. So choclo is a sweet white corn that you'll find in the Andes. It's in tons of different foods that I've featured. I love it. It's just like this rich flavor. It's almost like if you had like a rich beef stew on a potato puree, but this is like the Andean way. This choclo puree, so it's a corn puree. You would think it's potato. It's not vegan because they do use milk in the puree, but that milk is worth it. It's so smooth and rich. They've got some pumpkin seeds on here too, just for a garnish. This is so good. As I was shooting this, Andreas just slipped his fork in, and then he said, damn right, it's that good. It's like this, it feels familiar, like a familiar taste of home, but with just local Ecuadorian ingredients. This is fantastic. This is the cheapest of the main courses. It's $10, and let me tell you, you will not feel like you are missing out. This is a full plate, a fantastic meal. I can't wait to put some of that tatemado on this plate. So good. So here at La Maria, they don't have an almuerzo, like a menu of the day, and they also don't do kind of tasting menus. I think unless it's for special events, maybe if you bring a group. But I will say this, the first time I was here, I had the cocktails. The second time I've been here, I've had 3 plates, 4 if you count the amuse-bouche. This is definitely one of my favorite places in Cuenca, my favorite restaurants in Cuenca, and this video is off to such a good start. Who doesn't love to start a meal with bread? So the chef came in, dropped off bread for us. It is a ciabatta and a brioche, and the butter that they make here is garlic and green onion. What a way to start. And then actually, I have to say, I am so impressed with this service, even before I start the meal, because we are splitting 3 dishes, and the ceviche that has come out, they've actually split for us into 2 plates. That is taking things up to another notch, and so I can understand why it is now on the 50 best discovery list. This place so far, haven't had anything to eat, but I love the vibe, I love the mood, the music is great. This is a great place to have lunch. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week, when you come in, the only thing that you're 100% guaranteed that the chef has made is this bread, because people rave about this bread, and so he wants to make sure it lives up to expectations. Oh, the bread is amazing, but this butter is so good. This butter reminds me of when I had butter in Ireland. It's super creamy, almost sweet, and then you've got the onion. Something that's very special. This is the only dish that's been on the menu from the very beginning, all 7 years. This is the lazy ceviche. So ceviche normally is chopped up onion, tomato, pepper, you've got some tostado on it, and then it's all mixed together. So in this case, they call it the lazy one because it's almost deconstructed. They put everything off to the side, and then you kind of add it together yourself. Now, the other thing that makes this special is you can get it as fish, or you can also get it as vegetarian. So the ceviche here is actually mushroom. It's cremini mushroom. Everything here 100% Ecuadorian grown. This just grows right outside the city. And then also the other cool thing about this is that in the ceviche juice, what they actually use is SCOBY. So you know the bacteria, the fungi that makes kombucha, they actually use it in here. So I have a feeling it's gonna have a little bit of a tang, a bit of like fermented flavor. I'm gonna mix it all together. I will do the work since they were so lazy. Wow! I would have not known this was vegetarian ceviche. I would have not known that this was mushroom. One of the reasons I wanted to share this with you is because I want to share a vegetarian dish at all of these restaurants, because it is possible to eat vegetarian and vegan in Cuenca. And actually, when we looked at the menu, there were a number of things. So for example, in some cases you could swap out cauliflower, or it just seems like this kitchen is very aware of the number of vegetarians here, and probably vegan too. So you can have this amazing meal, and it's not like you're just eating salad or portobello burger. Like, this is definitely a taste of Ecuador, completely vegetarian. All right, so this is a very interesting second course. I decided I was just going to trust Andreas on this because I thought it was strange to be on the menu. This is broaster chicken. Now, broaster chicken is basically what we would know as like KFC. It's deep fried chicken, and it means something to people as adults now, because as children there wasn't a lot of like fast food around here, and so this deep fried chicken you would find in street food agachaditos, or the little street carts, and you would also find them in huecas, the little hole in the wall places. This really is a taste of Cuenca, because Cuenca I don't think got McDonald's until 10 years ago. That's right, and it's not even that popular here. People are still eating broaster chicken and all of these dishes that they grew up with as children. So they instructed us to try the broaster chicken, which is in a demi-glaze with maple syrup. They said it's a little bit reminiscent of Peking duck. And then also we've got camote, which is a sweet potato. We've got some broccoli for the crunch. We've got a little bit of arugula to give that a little bit of pepperiness. And then we've also got a little bit of encebollado, or pickled onion. Oh. The nice thing is they give you chicken breast, so you actually can just cut through it. You don't have to pick it up with your hands and get all that sauce over you. So this is camote, so it's like a sweet potato. So many different kinds of potatoes here in Ecuador. It doesn't taste like sweet potato that you would know. Oh, it's whipped so. Oh, it's so sweet. It's almost like candied, but it's not. So good. And then I can't believe I just ordered fried chicken, but this fried chicken is so good. Now, I don't usually eat dessert, but I couldn't pass this up because this is cheesecake. And what's interesting about this is it's cheesecake made with queso maduro from
Northern Cuenca.
Northern Cuenca. So it's cheese. It's with aged cheese from Northern Cuenca, and it also has tree tomato. So tree tomato you'll find throughout the coast. It makes my favorite ají, more popularly used for juice. And then they made this cheesecake out of it. So it's interesting because it doesn't look like cheesecake. It almost looks like a fancy kind of s'more. I think the middle of it is the cheese. Whoa. Okay. So this aged cheese, I don't know what kind it is, but it has that like funkiness that you get in like a blue cheese or something like that. And then tree tomato is not a tomato, it grows on a tree. It looks like a tomato when you cut it open, but it actually tastes more like it's citric. So like maybe a tomato and kiwi mixed together. It's an interesting flavor. It's Cheesecake is a dessert for people who don't like dessert. And this cheesecake is for someone who really thinks they don't like dessert, but really likes cheese. So basically, this short lunch here has made me realize that I am definitely coming back. They've got that 6-course tasting menu for $44. I don't have time to do it right now, but I'm definitely splurging on that when I come back in the fall, because if this is any indication of what we're in for, the tasting menu, which is chef's choice, will be amazing. Well, I'm back at La Chicheria. So I featured this spot in my video on traditional cocktails in Cuenca, and I'm back because I didn't get to eat and it looked so good. Now this spot is not in the historic district, but it's within walking distance on the way to Turi, the Lookoff, not very far at all, and it's well worth the walk. So this spot is all about working together, and they work directly with farmers to make chicha. Now chicha is a fermented corn beverage, fermented similarly to beer, and it's very traditional to this area. It is not alcoholic, but it can be if you add a little bit of alcohol to it. Now what's interesting here is they work with these local farmers to plant ancestral corn. There's not a lot of demand for that, and there's a danger of losing it, and so they were featured on a Netflix special, and so I knew about this place before I came back to Ecuador. And what I love about it is they guarantee farmers a sale because they work with them during the seeding process to plant this ancestral corn, which they then use in chicha. The menu here looks so good, using very traditional Ecuadorian ingredients, but in a modern way, in a way that I haven't seen before. So I think this is gonna be a really good meal. And to begin with, there's something I have never heard of before. It's called oca in Spanish, uca in Quechua, and then in New Zealand they actually call it yam, a New Zealand yam. However, it's not a yam, it's a tuber from the Andes. It looks like a root vegetable, and it's supposed to be really good for you. It's served with cream cheese sauce, pickles, and also just these little beetroot stems. So I love how they use a little bit of everything for color. That cream cheese is good, and the pickling. This is really good if you've got somebody in your group who's like, I don't want to eat anything weird. It's like just a starchy cream cheese pickly goodness. It kind of reminds me a little bit like a dill pickled chips or something. Like the pickly, sweet potato, tangy, sweet tart. It's really good. So it's called pies de assemblista, which means the feet of the politicians. And that's because politicians are considered pigs. That's right, this is a pork dish. Now it's primarily pork. There's also some shrimp in there from the coast for the coastal politicians, and then also some yuca fingers for the politicians from the Amazon. The pork is actually simmered for hours to bring out the collagen. It's also got chicha de maíz morado, or that purple corn. It's got some onions in it. Now, they told us that this dish, which is in this gravy, it looks so delicious, is actually meant to be eaten with your hands. So they brought us more of these. One of the things I really love about this place is that it's very humble. Like it's an old colonial style building with very high-end food. It's a food adventure, but you still have these humble traditions of pork knuckle. You're gonna eat it with your hands. So I'm going to take this risk by eating this with my hands on camera. I mean, I eat most of it. If you notice when we show some of the shots, I'm always eating things with my hands, and Andreas is more civilized and eats with a fork. This is what it is. So you've got the knuckle, and then you've just got the pork meat on the outside. It's almost like ribs or wings. You just kind of eat around it. Oh yeah. Because it has that chicha, the fermented corn, it has like a tanginess to it, but also very rich. It's got some onions in there, so you have that deep flavor. If you're a rib lover, you definitely want to try this dish. And then also if you have some non-rib lovers, we've got this shrimp. And then who's gonna turn down little yuca fingers? So just little pieces of fried yuca. This ají is so good. These are 3 restaurants in Cuenca that really share and feature Ecuadorian cuisine in a totally different manner. I think they're all very reasonable in prices, and what's interesting about these places is that it's fine dining, it's whole Ecuadorian cuisine, but it's also in very humble decor. So you can come here in jeans. I probably wouldn't wear shorts, but you could come into any of these places in shorts. It doesn't matter what you wear because you're here for the food. I hope you enjoyed this video of upscale Ecuadorian restaurants in Cuenca. So I hope you liked this video, and let me know in the comments below if you had to pick one restaurant to go to, which one would you go to first?